The global aviation industry in the past year no doubt has had its fair share of challenges, especially as we continue to face fluctuating cases of COVID-19 pandemic. Most recently with the Omicron variant in Nigeria, the relaxation of travel restrictions occasioned by the COVID-19 pandemic and the increased economic activities in the past year drove recovery in the aviation sector in the first 9 months of 2021. Well, that's according to a report by the National Bureau of Statistics. However, as the new year begins on the new slate amid the spread of the Omicron variant, the aviation space is set for a rebound and it's poised for a 4.7% projected growth rate in 2022, as the steep increase indicates capacity could return to 2015 levels by the end of the new year. Well, joining me to talk about this and making us understand some of these figures better, I introduced him earlier. He's an aviation analyst and, of course, also award-winning journalist, Mr. Wole Shadari. Happy New Year to you. It's good to see you.
Happy New Year, Tolu. Good to see you.
Yes. I told you, when I saw that the aviation sector, I saw that figure, 32.2 billion between January and... I called you immediately. I said, yes, exactly. Mr. Shadari, what is happening? Are we back to those days? So take us through what has played out in the sector before Omicron came again.
I think I was on this set 2 months ago where I made analysis on how the sector was improving. Yes. Steadily. It was improving after the coronavirus pandemic. We saw a situation where we could say the sector was actually getting to recovery stage before Omicron came in and slowed the sector down. If you look at it, we're actually getting very close to that period until September, where we had restrictions from United Arab Emirates, from the United States and some other places that, from the United Kingdom, that, placed restrictions on Nigerians and the aviation industry in some countries. So it really slowed the country back. And at that time, I also say that we're almost getting, perhaps by first quarter 2022, we'll get, if not 90%, we'll get to about 65-70% of what we had in 2019. But by and large, the sector has done well, performed very well. The figure shows that even in COVID era, we still recorded that type of profit. What to the GDP, it shows that the sector is moving on. I think we've seen the last day, except we're going to have something very close to Omicron that will probably slow the sector down. This sector is on a trajectory, is on a progression to recovery, and with what is happening, with some of the things we're doing, if you even look at the airline industry in Nigeria, they are doing very well. Nobody even expected that the airlines will do what they are doing. They are leasing aircraft, they are buying new equipment, they are investing heavily in new equipment, new routes, new products. And what does that show you? It shows that there's a progress from where they were before to what they were achieving before Omicron. And from the look of things, I think there's going to be more investment in the new year, and the sector can only get better.
But I'll play the devil's advocate here. We've had projections and reprojections, even for the entire economy, even the global space. IMF has come up with predictions, and they've come up with say, no, looking at this, considering this. Do you think that all of the projections for the aviation sector will still be at par with what we've had before?
Yes, the projection for aviation sector may not really. Once you say projection means that, okay, we might get probability. But with the look of things, I think a lot of people want to fly. There are more investment in the aviation industry. And what does it show you? There's expansion in the sector that a lot of, even new entrants are coming in. Before the end of March, we're going to have 1 or 2 airlines coming into the sector, starting operation. We're even going to have more than that. So what it shows you is that a lot of people want to really take to air travel, probably because of the security challenges we have. Airports are opening up. Anambra Airport recently opened.
Before now, we used to stop at Asaba and drive to.
And that's a good one, because what it means is that more people are going to take to air travel. People that hitherto were using Asaba Airport we're going to have a lot of movement into Anambra, because that is the hub of the southeast.
Yes, so businesses
and businesses are going to move very well. The indices are there, the indications are there that the aviation industry will do well. Comparable to some sectors, the aviation industry, with the look of things, is even going to do better than what has been projected to do. Yes.
Well, that looks good. We talked Forex earlier when I was talking to Andrew, and immediately I saw you. I said I was going to ask you, how is Forex scarcity impacting?
Because it's a major, it's a major problem, because if you look at it, to get Forex, for the airlines to get Forex, it takes a lot of effort for them. But recently, the Minister of Aviation, I think, met with the Central Bank of Nigeria, with the airlines, to see how they could make it very possible and very uncumbersome for them to get Forex. I think they are working on that, but we can use this opportunity to plead with the Central Bank of Nigeria to ensure that they get Forex, because whatever you do in aviation, everything is dollarized. There's no in Nigeria, aviation is an international standard, and whatever you're going to buy is going to be quoted in dollars. So they need a lot of dollars to do their maintenance. They need a lot of dollars to even get their leases, the lease aircraft. So it takes a lot of Forex for them to do that. I want to believe that before the middle of the year, that problem would have been solved, because the airlines are really not happy about that. They submit a form to CBN, and it takes them so long for them to get this Forex. I think the CBN should try as much as possible to get Forex for them. The federal government has really tried, because if you also look at spare parts waiver, taxes that they need to pay, they've waived that, and that would have cost the airlines several billions of naira. So the industry is looking very positive for the industry, except something else happened that can really slow the growth that we have achieved or we have recorded in the sector. But by and large, the Forex matter is very important for the CBN and for the airline to make sure that they reach an agreement on how they can speedily get Forex to do some of their operations. Because whatever they do, their fares are in naira, so they need a lot of naira to match the dollars to get their equipment, to get engine, to get aircraft for their operation.
Taking precautions for COVID is also something that is very important with our airlines, and we had an experience. It was fair enough, I can say it's really fair, better than what we used to see. But what do you think can be done to improve safety, particularly with regards to COVID?
I think the NCA has done relatively well in that regard, because the protocol they have used is from the World Health Organization. So I think on that they've really done well, because before you go to the airport, you need to wear your mask, you need to sanitize your hands, you need to ensure that you're safe and people around you are very safe. So the protocols are there from the NCAA, and if you're found not to be doing the right thing, you can be arrested for that. So it's very safe to go to the airport. It's very safe to even board the aircraft. Aside that, the airlines also have their own safety measures. Before you board the aircraft, you have to sanitize your hands. You have to use your face mask. You just need to do things that are that will bring safety to you, to yourself, and to other passengers. So on that, I don't think the aviation industry is lacking in safety, Omicron or COVID-19 virus protocol. So all those things are in place. In fact, it's just a template. Anywhere you go, you just have to take that template and apply to other aerodromes, other airports for you to be safe.
But I guess there were some cancellations too because of COVID during the Christmas break, because we had news.
No, the cancellations have been on, and I think that's where NCA needs to, be more stringent, ensure that yes, there are some cancellations that are weather related. If you have bad weather, it doesn't make sense for the pilot to pick his aircraft and say he wants to. As a matter of fact, there's a rule, there's a regulation on that issued by NCAA few weeks ago that if the weather is bad, you shouldn't. passengers shouldn't even put pressure on airlines to fly when the weather is inclement. But you know, in Nigeria and some other places, people want to get to their destination at 4 o'clock, and by 3 o'clock, oh, why is the airline not taking off? But we also have situations that the airlines too have taken passengers for granted. Yes. A 3 o'clock flight turns to like the next day or in the middle of the night on this time. So the NCA needs to come in. As a matter of fact, the passengers should know their rights. There's what they call passengers bill of right. If an airline delays you beyond 2 hours, 1.5 hours, there are things they need to do for you, give you refreshment. If it's late into the night, they have to book you into an hotel. But I doubt if most of our airlines do this, and that has really taken the joy out of air travel. We hope that the NCA will begin to look at this and will begin to bear his fangs on airing airlines.
I'm particular also about maintenance of aircraft, you know, the smaller aircraft, the bigger aircraft, you know, all of that. How has this been? Are we building local content with regards to that too?
The answer is no, because we do not have an MRO, maintenance, repair, overhaul in Nigeria. I understand that the federal government, through the Minister of Aviation, is trying to build a world-class MRO for Nigeria, where people can take their aircraft to and maintain them. But we have smaller MROs with aero contractor. They do their MRO, and that has really saved us a lot of money. That has really saved us amount that you would have used in flying those aircraft abroad and maintaining those aircraft. It has also kept money in the country, because if you ferry your aircraft from Nigeria to maybe Addis Ababa, it costs you a lot, and you're just gonna be on the queue. It's not as if, okay, you take your aircraft, you call them and they say bring it next week, because you have to follow the lay-down procedure. Yeah, because there are so many aircraft also on the line waiting to be maintained. So, but we have that in-house, although it is the small, something small with aero contractor. What aero contractor is doing, they are also doing A check, B check, and C check. I think they're also doing the D check too. So what it means is that they tear the aircraft down and, you know, give it a total maintenance, and it comes out like in a brand new one. So we are doing that in Nigeria. Aero contractor is doing that, but they need more capacity to be able to carry out that. Can they maintain up to 15, 20 aircraft in a year? I doubt if they have that capacity. But I do know that they maintain some aircraft belonging to airpeace, belonging to... They even do their own maintenance themselves. So to a large extent, the MRO will help us to ensure that we maintain our aircraft ourselves. And it will also curb capital flight, because we spend several billions of naira, more than 200 billion naira annually to maintain aircraft outside this country. If only we can have that, half of that retained back in our economy or in our system, I think it will be a good thing for the airlines, it will be a good thing for the operators, and it will also be, it will generate employment, you will create a lot of employment, because you need to have a lot of engineers that you're going to train and you're going to give jobs to. So, but we are very hopeful that the federal government, through the Minister of Aviation, will be able to come out with an MRO that will help us, because it's part of his agenda, part of the agenda of this government, to create an MRO for Nigeria, aside the national carrier that the minister told us that will be ready in April this year. We look forward to all those things. Those things, if we're able to get them...
I'm really set to get that working.
It's difficult, honestly. It's difficult to say yes. And
you
it's
go to
difficult,
smaller countries and you see their airlines.
And it's difficult to say no. But a lot of people will also tell you that it's not economical to have a national carrier. That perhaps you would have allowed private sector people, like what airpeace is doing, what Aero is doing. But I tell people, do we really have do they really have enough capacity to reciprocate some of these agreements, fly to many parts of the country. So I support a national carrier for Nigeria, but whichever way you look at it, some people will tell you it's needless. Some other people will tell you that it's very, very desirable. I support national carrier as long as it's going to be transparently done, as long as it's going to be in the favor of the Nigerian people. Anything outside that, I think will really, really truncate that dream. I look forward to it, and I hope that the minister too will give us the much awaited national carrier.
Much awaited national carrier. Let's wrap up. What's your outlook for Jet A1 fuel? Talking about maybe costs and all of that in 2022.
Yes, Jet A1 is still going to be expensive. In the last 1 year, it has gone up by almost 60%, which is not too good for operators, because aviation fuel takes about 40-45% of their revenue. They spend more, whatever they get, they spend it more on aviation fuel. And unfortunately, we do not have refineries that are working. Let us hope that the Dangote, the much awaited, let me use that word
another
again.
Much awaited, I totally agree with you.
That the much awaited Dangote refinery will come on stream, so that the airlines will be able to get Jet A1. And once they get it cheaper, it will also help to reduce, hopefully, cost of airfare that is, some people say is very high, but I tell people that based on the Naira-dollar ratio, it is not high, it is appropriate. Even the airlines are charging less than what they should charge, because if you go beyond what it is, people will eventually go by road. People will travel by road, because how many people really can afford to travel by air? People who earn 60,000, 80,000, 100,000 Naira. It doesn't make any sense for them to go. How would they be able to afford it? So
they prefer to go to the park.
Yeah, exactly. They'll tell you, if I go to the park, Jibowu or Unyibo or Maza, it will take me like 5,000 Naira. Yes, I know it's very tedious, but by the time I get home, I will take Panadol of 10 Naira or 20 Naira, and I'll get better, forgetting that air travel is the safest means of transportation anywhere in the world, maybe with the exception of rail system. So the sector looks good, like I said earlier. It looks good, except where we're going to have another issues like Omicron, and I pray we don't have that type of situation that will really slow down growth. Honestly, it looks good.
Expecting more support from government for the airlines?
I don't think government is going to support them by giving them bailout that they were giving the other time, which was a drop in an ocean, 4 billion Naira. But it also helped them to cushion some of their problem. 4 billion Naira, no matter what it is, it's still a lot of money.
Yes,
it is small, but it's still a lot of money. It helped them. I don't think the airlines rejected the money. They all shared the money to themselves. If it was that small, they would have rejected it. So, and you see more airlines, they've made orders for brand new aircraft. Like Air Peace, I don't know if I'm entitled to name them.
Go ahead.
Air Peace, Ibom Air, Arik, and many others are also Overland. They have also made orders. So what it shows you is that the industry is going to be very, very interesting in 2022. We're going to see a lot of investment in. We have seen investment. We've started seeing investment. Most of these aircraft will start coming in 2022, late 2022 and 2023. So this is what we have been looking for. We want brand new aircraft. We want aircraft that are fuel efficient, easy to operate, friendly to operate, and things like that. Gone are the days where you need to use Boeing 737 for less than 1 hour trip. So most of the airlines are now, re-strategizing, jettisoning those bigger aircraft to go for more fuel efficient aircraft like Embraer, like Bombardier, like other aircraft that will help them to do their operation profitably. So like I said, the industry looks very good. The projection, we're going to see a lot of activities. We're going to also have concession of the airports. We're going to, like I said, we're also going to have national carrier if everything works out. So all this will define the tenure, or some of these things will define the tenure of this present government, because they just have this year to whatever they want to do to crystallize whatever agenda or plans they have. It is also going to show how successful the Minister of Aviation, Hadi Sirika, had been. It's undeniably that he has done very well, but these two other things we really define his tenure in the aviation industry, and for which people will rate him, whether he did well, whether he didn't do well.
I must thank you. Interesting conversation there with Mr. Wale Shadare. I told you, I said, an award-winning journalist and an aviation expert here, taking us through all of the faces in the aviation sector. Thank you so much, and have a great, beautiful 2022 and beyond.
Thank you so much, Tolu.
All right.
My pleasure to be here once again.
Thank you so much.